Hey, welcome to the Dudes Talk Movies podcast. I'm Drew.
I'm Cam.
And this week, we're going to talk about a movie that if you're a fan of cheeseburgers, violence, and, well, blood, you're going to really enjoy this week because we're talking about the 1994 hit Pulp Fiction, directed by Quentin Tarantino.
Terry.
Yeah, exactly. Cam, do you want to tell the pretty stacked cast that this movie has?
Yeah, let's see. It stars John Travolta, Samuel L. Jackson, Uma Thurman, Bruce Willis. Not sure if this guy's a big person, but Tim Roth. Is he big?
Yeah, he was in Reservoir Dogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Him, Christopher Walken. Steve Buscemi's in here somewhere. Yeah, I think that's... Do we have any more? I think these are all pretty big people.
Now, Cam, I'm really gonna test you here.
Okay.
Can you give me a sentence of the plot? Try.
Two hitmen are trying to solve some dark... Nope, can't do it.
You can't. I mean, this is obviously, everybody knows kind of the movie. It's like told in such a way that you kind of see like the characters and you kind of just like go through their interactions, but there's not like a plot, if that makes sense. Yeah, there's stuff that happens and there's stuff that kind of drives the plot. But if you were to give like a log line, like what does the log line say on the Wikipedia? I'm curious to see how like extremely vague it is.
Let's see.
After watching it.
Vincent Vega and Jules Winfield are hitmen with a penchant for philosophical discussions in this ultra-hip, multi-strand crime movie. The storyline is interwoven with those of their boss, gangster Marcellus Wallace, his actress wife, Mia, struggling boxer, Butch, master fixer. They're not even talking about...
It's not even a plot. It's just like the
news where, yeah.
And, okay, so even they don't even like get a good idea. But I think that's something, like I said, just literally 30 seconds earlier, that the Quentin Tarantino does this cool thing where he basically he's so good with dialogue that you kind of just sit with the characters. And like when Vincent and Jules are talking, you don't know where they're going. You just hear them talking about the most random things, and it's pretty funny. So basically I'm going into what I thought of the movie. I enjoyed the character dialogue in the moments they have with each other. I think it's very natural. I don't think there was a time where I was kind of like, oh, that doesn't work. Like, because it seems like with Quentin Tarantino, he kind of like sets up this own world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where it's like people can just like shoot each other and just like get away with murder, and it's like nothing. It's just regular Tuesday.
Yeah.
The acting is pretty good. It's like I think that some of the actors are really just doing their own thing. Like Samuel L. Jackson's just Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
John Travolta's just being as goofy as he possibly can be. Bruce Willis is just I almost swore on here. He's just a bad.
I knew you were gonna
asterisk.
I knew you were gonna say that.
And I think, was there a thunder or something, Cam?
I think.
Who else? Who else is amazing in this movie? I know you mentioned Uma Thurman. She, which is the poster of the movie, she is pretty much the iconic kind of symbol of the movie, I think. Like, I think if you see her with
the wig,
the worst haircut I could have ever imagined.
A Robert cut.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah. You just know what movie you're looking at. You know what I mean? Other than that, the timeline, what's the word I'm thinking of? Non-linear storytelling throughout. I like it. I think that originally, before we watched it, I thought that it was kind of a gimmick. I thought that, like, the movie, he wrote a script that, like, the story wasn't good enough to stand as, like, an actual linear story. So, like, and that wasn't done at the time. Nobody was putting things in that way to audiences. So I feel like originally I was like, it doesn't really work and it's just random. But after watching it, I feel like it adds so much kind of, I don't know. I can't describe it. It's just it's such a, wow, I'm really struggling to come up with the words here. But it's so interesting to see how things play out in that different order where people are dying, and then in the next scene you see them alive, and you see how kind of the ripple effect that takes place.
I kind of think...
I'll stop talking.
I kind of think this, that kind of makes the movie what it is, because in reality, it's kind of like it's not like a pretty like it's not like a standout type of storyline. It's like just if it's told in the way that's supposed to, in like the regular way, then it's kind of like this guy just I don't like this guy's story connecting with other people, and like if you tell it the way it's supposed to be told, it actually just sounds weird.
Yeah.
Because you got like this buff dude who's like, getting kidnapped and getting whatever, and and
talk about that scene later.
Yeah, and then you got Uma Thurman. She like ODs, and
that's my favorite scene, where she when she ODs and Vincent is trying to give her the adrenaline shot or whatever.
Yeah,
that's the funniest scene I think ever. But yeah, you can continue.
It's I don't know. It's not like soup. It's just like has so many like references, I guess, in pop culture, or like it's such a big thing now because everything is kind of. I guess it's one of a kind. Not one of a kind because like these characters aren't super interesting. I think it's just the role they play and how the story's told that makes it so good nowadays.
Yeah. I think it's a factor of the characters that one, it's a A-list cast that's going on here. Their characters, while some of them I don't really I think some of them are kind of one note sometimes, where it's like, oh, Jules is this biblical philosophical preacher guy, and Vincent's just kind of like a idiot basically that is doing his job or whatever. But I don't know, it's just the way that the dialogue kind of carries it, and it's also a factor of the environment around them, where it seems like a lot of things are happening to them, and we're just watching how that's like this thing happens that leads to this thing that leads to this thing. But then all the scenes are now mashed together to kind of give this feeling like you get foreshadowing of scenes in the beginning of the movie that you don't know what that meant until you watch like at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I actually like how it's told because have you seen The Devil All the Time?
No, I haven't.
That's another one where like you get a bunch of different stories, but
you don't know about it until the end.
Exactly. It's with Tom Holland. It's pretty good. I don't think he's the main character. I think he's the face of it. Right?
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, he's like a preacher.
Yeah.
I think that was it. That was a really good one though. It was pretty interesting. But that's a whole different thing.
Yeah, and I go say that most people put this movie, like most hardcore film people put this movie in like their top 10.
I would not.
I wouldn't either. I see why. I think that I guess I'll just ask you, why do you think so many people put it in their top 10? And why don't you?
Half of them probably put it in because they're just supposed to. It's like
feel obligated.
Yeah, you're like, oh, if you don't like, if I don't like this, then I can't be you just hear about it so much that you kind of like have to like it. I guess if someone does like his stuff, then I've heard that this was like his magnum opus kind of thing, like his best movie ever, like this is his peak.
He's made a lot of good movies though.
I haven't seen all of them to make that judgment.
I haven't seen all of them either. I personally find Quentin Tarantino, like his movies are great, but if you watch an interview with him, God, is he pretentious.
He sounds like a weirdo.
Yeah, he sounds, well.
I sounded so weirdo.
I should have said, also, if you're a fan of feet, that's what I should have said. You'll love this movie, because he has a weird fascination with feet, where all of his movies will have like close-up shots of like women's feet. Very strange.
I've heard about that actually.
Very strange.
Yeah, it's I didn't look at it in this.
He's a weird dude. Talented. Lord, he is talented.
I saw someone say Quentin Tarantino is a good name for that freak. Quentin Tarantino. That is a very peculiar name, but
we'll have him on next week's episode, and we'll play him up and tell him he's the best person.
I've never seen his interviews. He's just talking about like how good he is,
he's just weird, and he just he says a lot of stuff in the media just to like make people upset, like stuff about Marvel movies. Which what famous director hasn't said something about Marvel movies? Like Martin Scorsese, but
yeah.
Anyway,
it's not real cinema, but
exactly. Back on topic. So basically, you wouldn't have this in your top 10. Just what's the reason behind?
Because I don't know. It just didn't pop out to me. I think because I wasn't around when it first came out, and I heard it so much. That's why this is my first time watching it. I've never seen. Have you seen it before?
I saw it once before we watched it for this.
Okay, I didn't watch it ever because I just heard about it so much, and that kind of like just turned me off to it. Like, I don't know, I hear stuff so much, like I don't care to watch it. But I wouldn't put it up there because there was nothing that like stood out to me like I've already seen a movie that was told in a different order. I've already seen these different cast members in different movies. It's a decent movie, but I wouldn't.
I think at this point in Quentin Tarantino's career, I think what people learned about him over time is that he does kind of like to have the plot be the back burner kind of the movie and have the characters and actors kind of be the forefront at his dialogue. With movies like The Hateful Eight, which took place in like one like barn or like cabin, and then like Reservoir Dogs.
I couldn't even get through that.
Yeah, it took place in just that one warehouse or whatever. So, and he's really talented at the dialogue. I just think that if you're a fan of someone like a movie that has a really big driving plot that is like to it the entire, you know what I mean, that doesn't take any breaks, because this movie definitely feels like a movie that if you have like a low attention span or you just, you know, you want to be entertained throughout the whole time. Man, I sounded really condescending when I said like a low attention span, but you're not going to enjoy this movie. There's a lot of times where it's just people talking and that's it, which for the most part it's good. I have to say that the Bruce Willis part where he's in the hotel with his girlfriend, wife, I don't know, but
Couldn't tell you.
God, was it so boring. I mean,
When he's coming in all musty and stuff, boxing.
and I think the actress for her was not great. She was the only main actor or actress that wasn't a big name, which I found weird. Maybe it's Quentin Tarantino's like,
Maybe that's his celebrity crush at the time.
or it's his girlfriend at the time.
Is he married? I don't care.
Who would marry that? Quentin Tarantino.
Free. Yeah, but I don't know. It's
What? I guess I'll ask you, or I'll say my favorite character, and I'll ask you your favorite character. My favorite character was probably Vincent. Probably because he is the main character. John Travolta is the main character in the movie, and I think all his scenes just have this quirky, awkward humor to it. That's like I said earlier, when Uma Thurman overdoses, and he just comes out, and he's like, oh Jesus, oh no, and he's driving, he's calling his friend, played by Eric Stoltz, and he's like, I'm on my way, and he's like, don't call me, like he just, you know, and he hangs up, and all of a sudden he crashes into the front porch, like, and just the physical like comedy of Uma Thurman's body just flopping around,
dude.
It was. I think that he doesn't steal the show because Bruce Willis is probably the other co-star of the movie, if I'm being honest, besides Samuel Jackson and because he has a big chunk. But yeah, Vincent John Travolta's character is my favorite character. Who's your favorite character?
I think I'd agree. Or Samuel. For one, I just like his name, Samuel. Samuel Jackson. Jules. Like you say, he was just playing himself the whole time. It's like
very iconic.
English, mother. Do you speak it?
Yeah.
I know it's like, I don't know. It's funny because it's. I don't know. I didn't expect it. I didn't know a lot about the movie. I probably heard of it.
You're better off.
Yeah, but I think him because he had like that funny aspect to it. But I did like when the wife was the wife lost his watch or left his watch.
Bruce Willis.
Yeah, and then he's like, the one thing I told you is, and he's like, you're scaring me, and he just calms down. And like you just said, I'm sorry. It's not that. It's he's like, mother, this the one.
He cuts to him in the car. Like, I told you not to do that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and that, like, I like Bruce Willis's part, and like just that hotel room part is just a little slow for me. I get it, but I just feel like there wasn't enough like stuff being like the dialogue wasn't as strong at that point, and really that's the only part in the movie where I think the dialogue wasn't so engaging. But as soon as the next morning hits and he's looking for his watch, it's like you snap right back into it, and you're like, oh, now he has a goal. He's trying to get his watch back when he's being like hunted by Marcellus Wallace, which I thought was like, okay, we're back into it.
I didn't mind it too much. It didn't seem like it was that long. And plus, for half the time, I was kind of when you told me you wanted to watch this week, I kind of didn't have any expectations for it because I knew what the movie, I knew who directed it, and I knew it was like a big thing. So I kind of just expected it to be a little off. So I wasn't going into it like this is, with any expectations. So if something weird happened, I didn't think of it, or like dry happened, I didn't think of it like, oh, this is boring. I'm just thinking like this is probably what the movie is. But it didn't bother me too much. It didn't seem like it was that long.
I didn't feel like it was long until the hotel room scene, and then the scene at the diner at the very end.
That felt long?
It felt long just a tiny bit when Samuel Jackson's just going on the thing, and I was just kind of like, okay, like I get it, like I get what you mean. It's a memorable and it's like a well delivered line and everything. I was just kind of like, okay, I understand what you're getting at. Like it's okay.
I get that. That did. It didn't feel long. I think because at the end, that was like, I was really not surprised. I guess I enjoyed it because I saw the big wraparound since we opened with it and we closed with it. So I was
coming, yeah.
But I liked how it went. But I will agree, it felt a little long. Probably because I was falling asleep at that part, so I had to keep rewinding it.
Yeah.
But
I think another thing is how seeing it in different orders and seeing things play out kind of through other point of views, you kind of get to, it's interesting to see kind of how characters are in the same location without knowing it at the time.
Yeah.
You don't know it until we see their point of views. So like you said, it starts off with Tim Roth and his wife, don't know the actress's name. I'm not going to try. They like have the cafe or the diner at gunpoint, and that's all we see at the very beginning. And at the end, we see John Travolta and Samuel Jackson's characters, or Samuel Jackson in the diner at his seat while John Travolta goes to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. And I feel like it's just so cool that you get to like see kind of their point of view while everything's going on, and then see how that plays out further, which you're kind of like, oh, after seeing them so long, and even seeing, spoiler, it's, how old is this movie? Why am I checking my watch? How old? This movie's like, what, almost 20 years old?
94.
30 years old almost, in a year.
Yeah, 94.
Yeah. John Travolta's character dies halfway through the movie, a little more than halfway.
And it didn't even bother me because
you knew you were going to see him later.
Yeah. And you can't, like you said, he popped up like the next scene or whatever.
But, yeah. Which, like, is cool. Like, it's honestly like a cool idea because you're like, oh, he dies, but hey, you get more of them anyway. But yeah, I just like the way that it shows different point of views in scenes that we already saw before. I guess I'll ask you because we covered it after Bruce Willis loses his watch and he's on his way to go get the watch. That's probably my favorite scene because there is like a lot of suspense in him, like getting to his apartment. What do you think of the scene where Marcellus Wallace is walking across the street with donuts?
Oh, he spots him.
Yeah. Just that, like literally for that entire 30 minutes. What were you thinking? What did you think that was gonna go the way it went?
Nah. I thought it was funny when he sees him, he spots him. He just starts chasing him. That is what happened.
And
yeah.
Bruce Willis is trying to run, but his legs like.
Yeah. That was honestly, I didn't have many opinions. I didn't know where it was gonna go. So, but I did think it was interesting how it played out when they got to the dudes.
I was talking about this earlier with someone. I feel like Quentin Tarantino wrote himself into a hole where he's like, okay, this would be really cool if he passes them. They crash. Okay, what happens now? They run into a pawn shop.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, and then like he stopped riding. He's like, well, Jesus, what do I do now?
Now he just hit his.
And maybe he did drugs or something, or someone in the writing room had like, hey,
maybe he can quit.
And yeah, and he was like,
I don't know if we can say that, but
yeah, he was like, hey, I like that idea. Let's do it because it's out of nowhere.
Dude.
Who are these people? Why are they doing this? I mean, well, you know.
Yeah.
But, like, it's just crazy that that's the direction it takes because, you know, people are doing terrible things this whole movie.
But this is, like, out of the blue, man. Like, it's
crazy.
I wonder if they got backlash for it.
I don't know. I don't know. Because Quentin Tarantino was still new at the time.
Really?
Well, he made Reservoir Dogs 2 years before that. I think that was his first big movie was Reservoir Dogs. So like they're still kind of getting adjusted to kind of who he like was as a director. But still, that's anybody watching that movie can just be like, Jesus, what is?
Yeah.
Ooh, why? I mean, it's I hate to say memorable scene, like mostly because like if you mention it, you're like, oh, that scene.
Maybe notorious.
Better wording.
Memorable.
Yeah,
scene.
not yeah.
Yeah, I say notorious. But what did you think about? Like, what do you think's in the briefcase? I read reports and I was saying like it's like acts of God or
that's
like
what I okay
the Holy Trinity or
yeah, some like it has something to do with like
religion
with the God. Yeah, so if they open it's just gold in their face and I'm thinking like, oh, we got it, and then it's like 666 is the combination to open it, and then we see early in the movie that Marcellus Wallace has like a cut like behind his head, which is symbolic of like cutting out this, you know, something like that where you're cutting out like the soul through the brain. I don't know what I mean. It's kind of a weird thing to put in the movie of like realistic crime and, you know, kind of realistic characters to just have this like otherworldly kind of unknown.
Yeah, like this doesn't seem like the type of movie to have that.
Yeah,
And it's just kind of thrown in. We don't know much about it.
and we're never told. It's just like a prize that they want to get to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's just kind of a cool thing to add in a thing, and just a circus of characters and craziness. I guess, was there any point where you were like so surprised of what was going on? Besides, like, were you in that one scene?
Yes. When Quentin Tarantino just started dropping
Oh my God! Yeah, I didn't even.
N-bombs out of nowhere, hard R's out of nowhere.
I didn't even.
And he like, this dead. I'm like, dude, where? And he said it like 8 times.
There could have been a slew, like, of people, of actors that were like, that could have done it.
I think he just wanted to say it.
Probably. I mean, he runs the show, but it's like, is he a great actor? Not really. There's even scenes in it of him just literally hiding behind like the island, like half his face is covered while what's his name? Oh man, Harvey Keitel is giving dialogue to John Travolta and Samuel Jackson. You can just see his face just kind of hidden because he's probably just like monitoring that they're saying their lines and everything. But he's not a great actor. He's
just awkward. I think
the line delivery was funny. It's just at a certain point, it's just like, good Lord, dude, like calm down.
Yeah.
You wrote this. This is your like words.
I don't
you.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I wonder if there's articles about it or like why he wanted to. Yeah, I mean,
because he does that in every movie. He's in every single one of his movies, whether it be a bit part, but he's I guess a side character in this one mostly.
Yeah, he didn't have much of a role. He could have put anyone in that because he wasn't relevant after 15 minutes.
Yeah, in Reservoir Dogs, he was a character. He was one of the people in one of the
dudes.
Yeah, one of the dudes, but he died like early in the movie, which good because he can't really act that well.
I want to rewatch this. I watched this a couple
Reservoir Dogs.
Yeah, I didn't like it though. I couldn't finish it.
Yeah, I mean I haven't seen it in a while either, but yeah, his him in the movie too. It's just kind of like. Just adding to just the, oh my God, he wrote this, he directed it, and he's here dropping terrible, terrible words.
Hard R's.
Yeah.
No.
I guess I'll ask you the most, I could actually say this now, memorable scene, I think. What did you do when Marvin got shot in the
dude? I need a dude count. I feel like I keep saying dude, but I swear I was just about to ask you, like, that's such a crazy way to start the movie. Like, how far in the movie did that happen?
That happened? I think it was halfway, because we don't get, it's before we get to the Bruce Willis and Marcellus Wallace finding each other part, right? See, like, I can't remember, because, like, I can't remember, but
I feel like it was early, because I think when he barged into the apartment, that was pretty early.
They got there early in the movie, but they didn't it didn't show them driving away with Marvin until later, I think.
Okay.
And then he turns around and asks him something about God, and he just blows his braids all over the back windshield, which I thought that was, even like knowing what was gonna happen, it's just so funny the way it just comes out of nowhere. And then Samuel Jackson and John Travolta start like blaming each other about how he hit a bump and everything. Yeah. And the chemistry between those two is just awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of
us.
Two Duke.
Like us, right?
Yeah, man. But it is pretty crazy, though. I think the cleanup scene is one of my favorite scenes as well. Because I forgot the guy's name, but like the big mafia guy, he comes.
Wolf.
Yeah, the Wolf. Yeah. When he comes in, he's like, "Are you gonna do this?" And he's so cool and calm about it. He's like, "Can you say please?" I'm not here to say please, man. You need to. Or just that whole scene, that was pretty cool. But I think that was like one of my favorite scenes, excluding the ending in the diner.
Yeah. I don't know. There's just so much in this movie, man. It's just so many. And then Christopher Walken's scene.
What do you know him from? This?
Christopher Walken? Oh, God. I know him from, for some reason, I know him from Wedding Crashers. He's like the dad, and he's just a weird dude. I know him from the movie Deer Hunter. He's in so much. He's in so many movies. I know I just named 2, and then
you're just like, yeah, he's a lot.
He's in a lot.
Was he in Saw? He is. Is he Saw?
No, he's not Saw. He's oh God, I can't remember the guy's name for Saw. I'm blanking.
I feel like I know that guy.
But what'd you think of his little scene?
I wish there was more of him. I like him a little bit. I have a crush on him.
You have a crush on Christopher Walken?
Yeah. I know him from Batman though. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, Batman. He was in that.
He
He was
was.
the worst character in Batman Returns, I felt like.
What?
I didn't like him in Batman Returns. I know we did that episode a year ago about that.
Yeah.
But-
You didn't like Batman Returns? Okay.
I wasn't vibing with. I like Batman Returns. I just wasn't vibing with his
Him?
character.
He was in Catch Me If You Can.
Oh my god, he was the dad. Yeah.
Of Leo?
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah. It was
Oh,
throwback to our first episode.
man.
Go watch it, please.
Yeah.
You know, the audio might be absolutely atrocious. It might be like might sound like we're doing it inside like a cave.
Man, I forgot about that.
Give it a listen because
You'll see how much we progressed.
yeah, exactly. If we haven't changed at all in your eyes, then Lord help us, we're trying.
Man, our audio was terrible.
Yeah, our audio was pretty trash. But
We've improved. Yeah, back to this.
back to this film.
Yeah, I just wish there was more of him. He's pretty cool. He's a big name. I think it's always like weird when they have a big name actor or actress and they just have like such a small, like Jonah Hill and don't say it. Jonah Hill and oh my gosh,
Oh, that one, yeah.
it's a Quentin Tarantino movie. It's the Django. I didn't even look at it.
Jonah Hill's in Django and
He is in Django
for like a scene.
for a scene. Yeah, I think it's like a KKK meeting, and Jonah and Jonah Hill's like at the top, can tell them what to do. Yeah,
Oh, jeez.
I just think that's weird. And for Wolf of Wall Street, if you guys can see, I don't know if you could. Yeah, right here.
Yeah.
He's like the. I'm so off topic. Never mind. But yeah, I think it's weird when.
Yeah, he does that with all, like, he's worked with so many famous actors, and every single one of his movies, it's good because it makes every single one of his movies seem like a spectacle. Like, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, Margot Robbie. Boy, that's it that I can think of right now. Austin Butler is in that movie.
Austin Butler.
Yeah.
Is that the Disney guy?
The guy who played Elvis.
Okay.
And then this movie has Boom Boom Boom. Reservoir Dogs had Steve Buscemi, Tim Roth, Harvey Keitel. You know, all those kind of. They're not as big actors. Like, I think he got a lot more kind of mainstream, like household name actors as he went on. But yeah, for the majority of his movies, like Brad Pitt and Django Unchained, or Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
I just swore. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, he likes to work with the actors. I do wish sometimes he would use unknown actors sometimes.
Why?
I don't know. It's hard for me to... Sometimes it's like the Oppenheimer, which we're getting just a little off topic here. Like, sometimes it's hard to differentiate between these mainstream actors and their characters sometimes. Like, when you're watching a Tom Cruise movie, I don't see anybody... I don't see the character. I just see Tom Cruise, like, in a mission, you know? So, like, in... Like, this movie, and this movie's different. Like, Samuel Jackson's Samuel Jackson. John Travolta's John Travolta. Bruce Willis is Bruce Willis. You know, like, I don't see them for their names. Like, I don't even know. I know Vincent Vega. I know Jules. Marcellus Wallace. I don't know anybody else's names.
Mia Uma Thurman.
Okay. Yeah, Kill Bill. Kill Bill, yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just hard. So, like, when you get into these mainstream actors, it's just kind of like, oh, I'm watching this because Leonardo DiCaprio is it, you know?
Yeah, you don't see it as like a real movie just to go for the names.
Mhm.
I get that.
But not to say that his movies aren't, like, really, really good and, like, storytelling-wise, like, pretty innovative in the way it's written and everything.
Mhm.
I just think that, you know, if he came out with a movie, which he is soon, or
A movie critic.
yeah,
Yeah.
I wish he would use someone that's, like, unknown, lower, like, tier actors, like, not as well-known, basically, to kind of, I don't know, do something different.
I think he is. I think he has a stack movie for this one, or stack cast for this one too.
I might as well go out with,
It's a bang. I wonder what that's gonna be like. But
I guess we'll see. A lot of feet.
what? It's off topic, but what is your watch? Like, if something was left behind of yours, and
Oh, that I'd be so mad to go.
Yeah.
Or I don't even. Probably my phone at this point. Like, I don't know. Like,
no, like what's? I don't know. I was just thinking about like
student card. When I'm in the dining hall and I need something to eat, and I'm just like, oh my god.
that was just
I don't think I have anything that's that precious to me.
a watch that has nothing that has like a story behind it.
Probably not. I bought this watch on Amazon for like $32. It's waterproof. That
Oh.
was the seller right there.
Do you swim a lot?
No, but when I get up in the morning, I forget to take it off. I'm in the shower. I have kind of that oh crap, oh crap moment, and then I realize, oh okay, I paid the extra $10 for the waterproof. So that's how I start my mornings.
What? Okay, I think this is my last question. What do you think about Mia? Like, I didn't see like the big. She's not even in it that long.
Why she's on the poster?
Yeah, she's not.
She's kind of just she just stirs stuff up. She just stirs stuff up, and then she like, she has. I don't know. It's well acted by Uma Thurman. I just don't think her character is designed to have a lot to her.
Mm-hmm.
She's kind of just supposed to be this like a child basically that Vincent has to babysit.
Yeah,
As a deep show. I feel like there's really no other poster of this movie besides her. I'd love to see another version of the poster. I feel like just that scene where Vincent and Jules are like, oh, the gun.
Yeah,
that would have been a good enough poster too.
Well, I'm looking up Pulp Fiction.
I don't know. I don't know.
Do you know how big Uma Thurman was in '94?
Probably. I don't think that big. I don't think she could have been.
Maybe this was like, I don't know. Maybe this was just like the selling point. Yeah, but
Quentin Tarantino had a crush on Uma Thurman.
Probably her legs are up. I mean, she has shoes on.
You got to kiss if he let her be on the thing. I do like the design of it because it looks kind of like a
magazine.
comic or a magazine. Yeah.
Yeah, this 10-cent thing.
Yeah, but
yeah,
I really did it. I really did enjoy this movie. Even on second viewing, as much as my first one, even though I knew what was coming for the most part, I can still. I guess in cinematography too. We haven't talked about cinematography, which will make it quick. Was there anything that stuck out to you cinematography wise that you were like, oh, that's a cool shot, or oh, they did that differently?
I think. Let me see. Not off the top, but I use his website and I kind of remember it off of this.
What I noticed is I think there was a lot of times where the camera kind of was like a fly on the wall for a lot of scenes where it's kind of like it's one take and they're just kind of doing stuff and it's just kind of like
yeah. The scene, not the opening scene when Samuel and John Travolta, they're like outside the door, like they check the door and then they like let's wait a couple minutes and then they just go down the hall and they just keep talking like
that one take.
Yeah, that's the only one I kind of really paid attention to. But other than that, I know there were some. I just can't remember off the top. But I think that was pretty cool.
And even the scene where Bruce Willis is going back to his apartment, that's like a one take of him like jumping the fence, moving through the fence, going there, and like stuff like that's just cool because it's like you don't have to do that, but you
go the extra step. Yeah. You did that.
I did do that
in 3.
Whether it worked, whether it was a little boring, is left to be determined. We were trying to be kind of flashy.
I get it.
Maybe just a little bit.
I like. Keep going.
No, yeah, one takes. Now that I know, one takes are meant to like be more purposeful. I think like they're supposed to be like, when most of the time it's mostly because like, oh, this would be cool if we did a one take, but they're cool. I appreciate them because they are extremely hard to do with your actors and just like making sure everything in the environment isn't like jacking up the shot. But it's cool, and they have quite a bit in this movie that I think really works.
Do you have any favorite shots from here?
Like I said, just I hate to say this, but my favorite shot that just kind of, it's such a little thing, but it's the scene that we're talking about. No. It's the scene where he's like doing the eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I think that is such a suspenseful kind of like thing to add into the script because it's just like, oh my God, because you don't like either of them.
Yeah.
You may like Bruce Willis, but at the same time, you're like, okay, wait, what's going to happen? And it's when he picks, you see the shot of him like picking and he finally decides on one and then it's like him, it's like Bruce Willis. And then it pans over to Marcel and you're like, oh no. And just that little pan over was so effective because you're like wondering like, oh God, who's it going to be? That little detail, I think really like made you go like, oh no. I really wish I would have used my words a little better before I started that.
It's my favorite scene.
No, yeah.
Scene.
God. I just need to stop talking about that scene. Every time I say it, I say something that's so just not what I want to mean. But yeah, what would you get this movie out of 5 stars?
I think I'd go with a 3.
A 3? I want to give it a 4 or 4.5.
Really?
I know, because although it's like not my favorite movie, I can respect that it like is really good technically, acting wise, creative. The way the story is told is well written. Oh boy, I'll give it a 4. 4.5. I'll give one of those. I think there are some times where the story does kind of linger a little bit too long, and just I don't know. Maybe it's just not my top 10. Let's just say that. But any more about this wonderful, just chaotic movie?
No, just go watch it. I'm pretty sure everyone's watching this has seen it already, but
it's probably been on Netflix for what, 12 years now?
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know.
I don't even know,
but
yeah, go check it out. It's really good. I gave it 4.5, so it has to be good, right, Cam?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Drew knows all.
All right, this has been the Two Dudes Talk Movies podcast. I'm Drew.
I'm Cam.
And it's been over Pulp Fiction. We'll see you next week where we will cover a movie Cam will pick. Also on our YouTube channel, we said last week, but since we'll say it this week before we forget, you can actually put a comment in the YouTube page on the YouTube video recommending a movie to us. So do that so we can do other movies that you guys can pick as well as ones we pick. So yeah, we'll see you next week. See ya.
Peace.